Representative Matt Gaetz, the representative for the 1st Congressional District of Florida. Congressman, thanks for joining us tonight.
Oh, great to be here with you. Great to be at Turning Point.
Great. So, of course, you're here in Arizona with us for the America Fest 2022. Checking out some of your social media, we see a lot of Never Kevin talk. Of course, that I believe the election's coming up for the speakership January 3rd. So can you tell our audience why you've taken this position?
Well, I don't believe Kevin McCarthy is the right leader for the Republican team. I think that he has underperformed in elections. I think he hasn't really been in the fight on critical issues that impact the shape of the country. And frankly, I just don't think that all the Americans that work so hard to get us the House are going to be thrilled when they see the speaker gavel transfer from one member of the California delegation to another member of the California delegation. I prefer someone like Arizona's Andy Biggs or Ohio's Jim Jordan, people who are fighters and people who I think really represent the conservative center of the Republican conference.
And so we see some Republicans are split. Some say that perhaps this might be helping Democrats. How would you respond to some of those critics?
Well, it is likely that we won't have a speakership resolved on January 3rd. So I guess it may take a little longer to get the investigations up and running than I would have liked. And that's driven by Kevin McCarthy's stubbornness. He doesn't have the votes. He's had years to get the votes. He doesn't have 218 votes. I don't even think he has 200 votes. And so for him to persist with a big floor fight that's messy, well, that would be helping the Democrats by his hand, not by mine. Look, the majority is 4 seats. So 5 people, for any reason or no reason at all, can say we've got to look in a different direction. I think we need a consensus candidate. To me, someone like Jim Jordan would actually unite all of the different teams within the Republican banner, and that would be the best way to proceed.
I think so as well, because we need elections to mean something. So you're exactly right. The base, a lot of times, we'll get out there, we'll get these, we'll win elections, and then we feel like nothing really changes for us Republicans. So I'm glad that you're holding the old guard, the feet to the fire, so to speak. Also, so then looking ahead to the new year, FBI weaponization, DOJ, you're talking about some of these investigations. What would you like to see prioritized now with this at least slim majority?
Well, sure. Right now in the House Judiciary Committee, we're talking about what should be our first hearing. And there are some who believe that this crisis on the border with Title 42 going away and reaching the tens of thousands of people every day coming into our country illegally, that has to be dealt with first and foremost. So you may see former Border Patrol agents, current Border Patrol agents, whistleblowers talking about how the Biden administration's border strategy is on purpose. It is not a bug of this system that isn't working. It is the feature of the system, and that is very important work for us. There are others who've suggested maybe Elon Musk as a first witness to come and explain this crime scene that was Twitter, and how really if we're unable to have reasonable discussion in the public square around facts, then we're limited in the policy progress we can make as a country. So those are two competing views right now. We're having a lot of those deliberations, and of course we're going to get to really the intermingling of the FBI and what we see to constrain free speech in the digital world.
And of course, before we get there, we need to talk about funding. So the omnibus, I believe the date to look for on that is December 23rd. What do you think our audience needs to know about that?
Well, I'm not voting for this omnibus, and no good Republican should. This omnibus spending bill allows Nancy Pelosi to rule the budget of the Congress with a dead hand for a year. And why would that even be something Republicans would consider? Because we got too many corrupt, departing Republican senators that are willing to accept pork barrel projects for their districts as their legacy. But the real legacy is they're empowering Nancy Pelosi. But they're not afraid of that because they don't have to face their voters again. So we need patriots all over the country to call their senators, call their House members, tell every Republican, you oppose this Omni or you are on the team of Nancy Pelosi.
Because if Republicans support it, doesn't that, as you were saying, help the House Speaker, as you said, the dead hand, almost keep the hand on the gavel even through the new year? Because if we had the continuing resolution, that would end in January. So then you'd have the House majority now being able to pass these budgets. So do you think it would be almost Republicans would be going against their own best interest to allow this?
Yeah, surrendering leverage is a terrible idea in politics, whether it's the speakership vote or a massive funding bill. And the leverage the voters gave us to check back against this government spending fueled inflation cycle we are in is the power of the purse. And now they're giving away the power of the purse. And for a lot of fiscal hawks, it's why they're not going to vote for Kevin McCarthy, because they see that he's not leading here with any conviction. Sure, he says he's against the omnibus, but trust me, behind the scenes, Kevin McCarthy has created a permission structure for Republicans in the Senate and even maybe in the House to go and back this surrender of leverage to the dead hand of Nancy Pelosi. I cannot imagine a worse way to end this year and to start the next one than doing that.
Well, Congressman, keep up the great fight as always, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Oh, thanks, Kara. I appreciate it.